Hey now, everybody. It's the Rob from 106.1 Kiss FM here with my tag team partner in podcasting. Everybody say hello to the legend killer, Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Good morning. I'm a little behind the eight ball because I'm just getting the our TLC prediction sheet ready. So even if my eyes aren't up, I'm paying attention, I promise you.
Oh, no, you're good. I actually said good morning. It's good morning here in Evansville. Good afternoon to you in State College.
It is now. We are now in it. It is 12:15 Eastern time.
So I've got to be honest with you. We kind of have talked about our limited level of excitement for today's predictions.
Sure.
In that the card is weak and also feels kind of thin. Yes, I'm most excited to talk to you about how your parent-teacher conference went regarding your son.
It was good. Nothing about the bus or pulling his junk out on the bus was discussed.
Damn it.
But his parent-teacher conferences, it's a different result than with his sister. It just is. And I'm sure that's how it was with me and my sister. Like, my sister never did anything wrong and it sucked. And then you get to me and it's like, here's a sheet of all the things that we work on in class. Are you an always, sometimes, or usual? And he was like, sometimes. Sometimes he pays attention because sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he listens because sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he shares because sometimes he's paying attention to his buddies and he's pulling his junk out on the bus. So it's just different. Allie has different goals than Evan, it's just, but there at one point she was like, as parents, what do you think? At school, we'll work on Evan being distracted or doodling instead of working on his writing. And this is how we'll do it at school. How will you guys do it at home? And I was like, I don't know.
I stopped paying attention 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, don't look to me to come up with solutions as how to not be all distracted all the time, because that's how I live my life. Like, I'm a disorganized wreck. So I'm looking at my buddy. I'm just like, oh, dude, you're in it. You're in it now up to your hips, and you'll be neck deep in it before you know it.
Who's your buddy?
Evan.
Oh. Can I tell you one thing I love about Evan?
Yeah.
Already on his school bus, Evan is behaving like Ric Flair does on a international airplane.
Just nature boy, just getting his stuff out and using curse words.
Did he tell his bus driver to, quote, touch it?
He might have.
Who knows?
I mean, you never know. He absolutely might have. I know the one day there was a kid yelled something out the bus window, and I think it was to Allison, and Evan yelled, "You're a middle finger!"
And then strangely you threw in a woo!
Woo! He's styling and profiling already, and he's 6. And he's 6 years old.
That's wonderful.
It's an issue. It really is.
So, all right. Well, first of all, if he's paying attention some of the time, he's normal. Congratulations.
Yeah, you're going to be a normal kid.
Can you think of a day when you were 6 years old that you paid attention to everything your dumb teacher said?
No, I don't listen to his mother. Like, I don't I just don't know what they expect. He's mine.
Well, I think that you're doing okay, if you want my opinion. You're doing better than the build to TLC, if you want my opinion.
Oh man, I'm writing down the matches right now, and I'm clumping them. So I'm writing down the women's matches, the 205 Live matches, and then the other matches. And there are way too many of the women and 205 Live on this card.
So, when we started our conversation about this show, we kind of started things on Monday. We could only think of like 4 matches at the top of our heads.
Right.
And we're like, wow, this feels really, really thin. And then you researched it and you came up with a fifth match on that episode. And we said, still feels really thin. And now there's 2 more matches that I've got. I've got a card of 7 matches in front of me. And my response is, even though it's only like 1 less than a normal show, it still feels really thin to me.
Yeah, it's a super thin It's a super thin card, like all the way around.
There's not one match I'm like super excited for. The best we can get to is I Kinda Care, which you could say probably about maybe I'd say 2, maybe 3 matches.
There are moments that I'm interested in seeing. You know, I'm interested in seeing Asuka's debut.
Yeah, me too.
That's cool. I'm in on Enzo when he comes out and how they're fleshing that out. So I'm interested in that match. I'm interested in the main event because of the stipulation. And I think of all the things I'm most interested to see, I'm most interested to see how Sister Abigail wrestles. And if it's just Bray Wyatt in a wig or a mask, or if his mannerisms are different, if his wrestling style is different. Like, I'm interested to see how this match goes, because it could either be wrestle crap or it could be pretty cool.
I bet you it'll be okay. I see what you're saying. Like, I mean, it could be a Chamber of Horrors, or it could be another demon. And yeah, I mean, the potential is there. I would say, I bet you it will probably be somewhere in the middle. It won't be like all that bad, but also here's what I want to come out of that. I kind of want Sister Abigail to become quote unquote regular. Regular meaning we see her once in a while the way we see the demon once in a while.
Yes, and I think that we may. I'm kind of hoping that's how it is.
Let's get started if you don't mind, Jer.
Okay.
Got my predictions here on a notepad. You're writing things down. Are you ready over there? Do you have your board ready?
Almost. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches written down. I need Balor and Bray, and then the main event.
And are your predictions filled in already or not?
No, but they are in my head. I just haven't had a chance to write them down yet. But I am locked in on everything.
Okay. Then why don't you go ahead and I'll go to you first. One match being forecasted for what's the pre-show match? Is that Banks and Fox?
So there's 2 things on the pre-show. You've got the PowerPoint presentation for 205 Live on how to make a better 205.
Who's doing that again?
Gulak's doing that.
Okay.
And it's actually been funny and something he's been doing on 205 Live.
I love that you know this.
So that's going to be part of the pre-show, and then the pre-show match that you're going to get Sasha Banks versus Alicia Fox.
Did you watch 205 Live this week?
I did.
Look at you. All right, cool. And I'm assuming I don't need to watch it?
You don't need to, but you may want to, because it sets up. There are 2 matches on this main card that are set up really well on 205 Live, if you're paying attention. So if you want to have any interest in one of the matches that you don't know anything about, then I would recommend it, yes.
Yeah, strangely I don't.
Ha.
All right, so then we got Banks and we got Fox.
Yes.
All right, Jer, since you don't have anything written down yet, why don't you go ahead and tell me who's going to win that?
I'm just going to come out swinging today, and I'm going to say Alicia Fox. I feel like... Hey-o, I'm just going to go for it today. I'm going with my gut on this one. Sasha Banks is the safe bet, of course, but I thought on Monday night Alicia Fox hasn't looked better, and they're trying to feature her maybe a little bit more, and it wouldn't hurt Sasha to lose somehow cheaply on the pre-show, and it would only help Alicia Fox. So I'm going with Alicia Fox.
You can call me Rob Safe Bet Hirschbuell.
Okie dokie.
And I'm taking the safe bet Sasha Banks.
Yeah, you can probably take that one to the bank, as they say.
I'm not sure I'm a safe bet down the board, but when it comes to pre-show, safe bet city.
Safe bet city for you. I'm going with Alicia Fox, so here we go. Disagreement right out of the box.
Sasha Banks typically only loses one night after winning the women's title. So I'm going to say that she's going to make it out okay with the pre-show of TLC.
That bitch only loses title defenses.
So yeah, with no title on the line, I'm gonna say that she probably wins on this particular night.
All right, you're probably right. Here we go.
You got those written down?
I've got them written down, locked in.
All right, why don't we talk about the next match I have written down is another women's match, but I mean, half these matches are women's matches anyway.
Yeah.
I've got Alexa Bliss defending the women's championship against Mickie James, which is actually one of the matches that I feel has the best build on this show. I actually have been impressed with both these two women, and they've got me somewhat excited for their match on Sunday.
It's been super interesting for me as I went back and forth a little bit because I thought this would be a cool time to give Mickie James the title, but I think that Mickie James is just a nice little feud to get Alexa Bliss through till Asuka's ready. And so I think Asuka and Bliss will be the match we end up getting eventually, so I'm going to go with Bliss. Little Miss Bliss.
It is definitely safe to say we're going to get the match Asuka versus Alexa Bliss because there's 5 women on the roster.
Yes.
So it's safe to say it. Asuka versus Bayley is a safe bet. Bayley versus Bliss is a safe bet. You know, I mean, the whole thing is a safe bet.
But Asuka, Mickie James, I wouldn't bet on.
I bet you'll see it at some point.
Maybe.
Who knows? Well, anyway, I agree. While it's not outside the realm of possibility that they give Mickie James the farewell women's title, like I feel like they're doing for Natalya right now, I don't think this is going to happen. I don't think we'll see Mickie James with the title again. I think that Alexa Bliss retains by hook or by crook on Sunday.
Okay, so we agree on that one. And might as well just do, you want to do the other women's match? Just get that out of the way because I've already written it down for both of us.
What did you write down?
I wrote down Asuka beating Emma.
Okay, then yes, we agree.
We agree. I gave us both Emma. I thought we'd just go crazy.
All right, let's go. Let's go. Like I said, safe bet Hirschbiel all the way this time.
And is it okay that we're not talking about Asuka and Emma very much? I mean, there's nothing to say. This is Asuka's debut. She never lost in NXT. They're not going to job her out to Emma at TLC. It's not happening.
I think it has the potential to be maybe the best match of the night. I'm not even kidding.
You have such low expectations for this main event. It's not even funny.
That is correct, sir.
Oh, boy. We disagree on that. I just want you to know.
Okay. Well, I'm not saying it's going to – I'm not –
You kind of are saying it's going to be bad.
I'm
you
saying
kind of are.
Asuka and Emma have a track record of delivering great matches. I don't really feel all that invested in the main event. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Asuka and Emma could really put on a show on Sunday.
Okay.
Watch we come back on Monday, and you're going to be like, damn it, Hirschbiel, you did it again.
You did it again. Sami Zayn's wearing all black as a heel. You were right again.
Damn it again. Enzo's not floundering in 205 Live, is he?
Boy, he's really not. I enjoy him more. It's something else. Not only is he not floundering in 205 Live, but the joke's on me because I'm watching 205 Live now.
That's all I'm saying. So watch what happens on Sunday. Would not shock me at all if Asuka and Emma deliver the goods in spades on Sunday. Let's move on to Cedric Alexander and Rich Swann taking on Jack Gallagher and the Brian Kendrick. That's the match you have, right?
It is the match I have. Now, I want to say something, and you can't agree or disagree with me, unfortunately, on this because you don't know. But earlier you said that Mickie James and Alexa Bliss was probably one of the best built feuds on this card.
At least one of my favorites, yeah.
Yeah, well, favorite for sure. But this has been built really well. This has been built on 205 Live incredibly well because it started with Jack Gallagher and the Brian Kendrick having an issue with each other, and then finally Gallagher just kind of sides with Kendrick and turned on Cedric Alexander and beat him with the umbrella, and there have been just weeks and weeks and weeks of this feud building up. And this past week, it was Jack Gallagher taking on Rich Swann, and it was a great match. And then Kendrick came out, and they attacked him, and then Cedric Alexander came out, and they pushed the heels off of him. And it's just building to this tag match. These two teams have really united against each other, and it's been cool. It's been cool to see. So I'm actually excited to see this match. I think it'll be a good one. I don't know if it will be good if you don't know the story. So I mean, it might just be a tune-up because it's just like the other 205 Live stuffs where if you don't know anything about it, you just, oh, they're doing good match.
Or they'll have a video package ready that will suck me into it.
I hope. I don't know if they will.
It could. All right, well then why don't I go ahead and give you my prediction, and since you probably have the answer, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Sure.
I'm taking Cedric Alexander and Rich Swann because they're the good guys.
Okay. That's your reasoning too, right?
It just feels like I feel like they have more invested in Alexander and Swann as singles stars. I would say they probably have a longer future with Swann and Alexander with the company than do the other guys maybe. And Kendrick's kind of used in that putting guys over role. So yeah, it just feels like the perfect storm for me to have Cedric Alexander and Rich Swann go over on Sunday with the little I know about this.
From a story perspective, it makes total sense. I think at this point for Gallagher and Kendrick to get the win. And I think that they will get the win. As you said earlier, by hook and by crook, I'm picking Jack Gallagher and Brian Kendrick. I do think that because this isn't the end of the feud, Cedric Alexander will eventually come out on top over Brian Kendrick. He will definitely, because they're the two team leaders, if you will. And I think Cedric Alexander will get his number, but I don't think it's going to happen here. I think they're going to push this to a singles match, probably at the next pay-per-view.
If I wanted to hook you, Jer, you'd be hooked.
You'd be hooked. So thank you. Those four guys can thank Enzo, because without him, I wouldn't give a crap about this match. I'm taking Gentleman Jack and the Brian Kendrick.
Let's move on to Enzo, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So, by the way, that's our second disagreement?
Second disagreement.
All right. Moving forward, you just mentioned Enzo, and he has been in an interesting spot over the past month or two here in the 205 Live, kind of doing a heel gimmick, which he hasn't done on the main roster until very recently, doing it very, very well. All eyes on Enzo. He fights to retain or reattain his Cruiserweight Championship that actually is on Kalisto's right now, despite Kalisto saying he'll be the new champion come Sunday. He's the current champion going into TLC.
They did a video package on 205 Live, and they cut him out. They cut out the new part of him talking.
I'm sure.
And he's like, be the champion, but they cut out new because they had to, because he's stupid.
All right, Jer, do we have Kalisto as new champion, or do we have Enzo as new champion?
Well, Kalisto was right. There will be a new champion, but he's wrong that it's him. I'm taking Enzo Amore because he got the sauce, and he has dollar bills stacked as high as Kalisto.
Well, look at this Fugazi Valeri over here, picking Zoe over Kalisto.
The Zoe train is coming through. Choo, choo.
I thought we were going to disagree on this one because the title change was so fresh. It just happened not this past Monday, but the Monday before. But unfortunately, we don't disagree. I do think Zoe has the sauce and Zoe has the belt come Monday.
Oh, baby. Listen, if WWE wanted to ruin the idea that just because you won a championship a week ago means that you're going to hold it. That precedent's been long set.
You know what, though? Let's talk about this for a real quick minute, if you don't mind. I had a thought about this.
Okay.
So, while we have been used to title changes being rare and special,
yeah.
If you take that wrestling is real vantage point, that kind of stuff could happen.
It does, and it happens in the UFC all the time. It happens in Bellator. It happens in mixed martial arts. So, in a way, I get it.
But I'm still not a fan.
And as much as we criticize the WWE for it, and they do it a lot with the women's title, the tag belts, probably the cruiserweight. But really, because Jinder's had the belt for a significant amount of time, Brock Lesnar's had the belt for a significant amount of time, and the U.S. title went back and forth like a hot potato, but the Intercontinental Championship has been on the Miz's shoulder for quite some time. So those 3 belts have been consistent. It's just the other ones are going back and forth so much that it makes you crazy.
Yeah, and there's so many titles that just the simple act of a title change doesn't feel special anymore.
It doesn't. And at this point, I used to be like, well, I'd look at my predictions and be like, I have too many title changes on this pay-per-view. I got to change something. And now I don't change it anymore because there could be 4 title changes on a pay-per-view. It doesn't matter.
Or like, you know, I remember like when we went to a Raw SmackDown taping in 2006, you know, we saw a world title change. And then later that year, we went to Survivor Series and we saw the world title change again. And like, you kind of, you know, I feel like those are special times. But now it's like if you told someone, hey, I was there for a title change, they're like, who gives a crap?
Yeah.
So, all right. So there we go. And then we've got 2 more matches by my math. We've got the Demon Finn Balor taking on Sister Abigail, Bray Wyatt. This was the one that gave me the biggest problem.
Okay.
Because again, I come down to what I think should happen versus what I think will happen. And I know that the safe bet is what I think will happen, but I'm going with my heart on this one, not my brain.
This is interesting to me because what I think will happen, what I think should happen, is also what I think will happen. So I'm interested to see where you're going here.
What I think should happen is Bray Wyatt establishes Sister Abigail as something special, a new cannon in his arsenal, and he uses it to defeat Finn Balor or the Demon. Or do we know if we're getting the Demon? Has that confirmed?
I think we're getting the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Didn't you see Raw? He keeps turning into that orange pumpkin, Finn Balor. So the Great Pumpkin versus Sister Abigail is what I assume we're going to see.
So I feel like it would be really helpful, and I feel like it'd be productive to establish Sister Abigail as something special. My brain goes, it's Bray Wyatt. Don't be an idiot. He never wins on pay-per-view. The Demon is the future as far as the WWE is concerned. Go with the Demon. So I almost feel like I'm placing the bad bet. But I really think the right thing to do is get Bray and Sister Abigail over, and that's where I'm going to vote. Even though I kind of think I'm wrong. Like I've never been like this, like where I'm like, this is the wrong answer, but I'm voting for it anyway. That's the way I feel with this particular match. I'm taking Bray.
Well, allow me to assuage your fears, young man, because I think that not only should it happen, but it will happen, and it needs to happen. Sister Abigail will win for a few reasons, most of which you've already said. I don't need to go and repeat it. Sister Abigail is new. Sister Abigail needs to be reinforced. Sister Abigail needs to be strengthened right out of the gate. The other one that you didn't mention is that they fought twice already, and Balor wins each time. Man, shame on them if they bury Bray 3 in a row to Finn Balor. Like you shouldn't do that to any talent that you're trying to market as a big major heel. And so I'm going to put faith in the WWE to put Sister Abigail over. We both agree on it. And I think it is the better bet. I think you're okay.
I know it's the better bet. I just don't know that they always make the right call. But, and you know what? When last pay-per-view, when we made predictions, I said that Bray needs to go over, and we didn't know where it was going with this whole Sister Abigail thing because that wasn't a thing then.
Yeah.
So you don't know what the future holds for this feud, and I don't think it's over after this one either, which I'm kind of okay with because this feud has layers. This feud has legs. This feud has grabbed me. So
it's evolved. They've had 3 matches essentially with no stipulation. Essentially, it's been the same match, but just the way they tweak it is different. You had Bray versus the Demon. Then you had man versus man, and then now you have Sister Abigail versus the Demon. It's worked out.
All right. And then there was one more match. And by the way, remind me, we disagree on, it's just two, right? Just two so far?
We disagree on Sasha and Alicia Fox, and we disagree on Jack Gallagher, Brian Kendrick, Cedric Alexander, and Rich Swann.
Okay. I predict that we will not disagree on the main event, but I will say this. The main event all month long, or really since it seemed like it was going to be the Shield versus the Miztourage, I didn't even give it a lot of thought, and I just knee-jerk reaction went with the Shield. Today, when I'm staring at the computer screen with the matches on it, and I'm looking at it, and I'm really thinking, I'm like, okay, is this definitely where I want to go? I stopped and I said no. And I thought about everything. So here is my overwhelming thought. While the Shield is, for lack of a better term, new and shiny right now. By the way, if you're writing down, I did not make my prediction yet.
No, I'm writing down mine, so gotcha. I have it before you give yours.
So, I don't think the Shield is going to last really past the Royal Rumble. At least to WrestleMania. They got to get, I feel like Roman's going to be out of it again in time for a Brock Lesnar match at WrestleMania. So I don't think the Shield is a long-term plan. So I thought that them doing the job might get them actually kind of over as baby faces in that, you know, it's a handicap match and you can kind of get baby faces over that way. So I don't feel like it's a safe bet one way or the other. Like if you're going to say a different answer than me, I don't think you're crazy. But,
by the way, I'll stop you for a second. I do disagree. I think the Shield will still be together at WrestleMania. And I think Roman Reigns might take on Brock Lesnar, but he'll take him on as a member of the Shield.
That's a fair bet too. There's no reason why that can't happen.
Right.
For as short term as I think the Shield's probably going to wind up being. By the way, boy, what you're saying just made a lot of sense, especially if you want to keep Roman as a baby face going into WrestleMania. But
if they want people to not hate Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, they better keep the Shield together.
Yeah, boy, you're right. Okay, well, we'll come back to that at some other episode. My thing is, while I do think the Shield is somewhat short term up until Jerry made that comment, I recognize that this union of the Miz and the Bar and Strowman is likely even more short term.
And Kane.
Oh my God, I forgot about Kane.
Yeah, it's a 5-on-3.
Holy cow. Yeah, I'm still going. I'm taking the Shield.
Okay.
I bet you will too, but if you don't, I'm not going to say you're crazy.
I'm taking the Shield. And I think it ends with Kane turning on them. I think we'll get Kane and Braun Strowman at Survivor Series.
Interesting.
I think that it just makes sense to feed Braun a monster, and Kane is a monster. He's a beatable monster, but he's a monster nonetheless. And the way he debuted, they kind of debuted him like it was, you know, Shawn Michaels' Hell in the Cell, and he's ripping the cage door off. So
well,
I think the Kane's going to turn on him and get in a fight with Braun Strowman, and that's going to be that's setting up another match down the road. And I'm okay with that. I'd be fine with that.
I feel like it makes sense for Kane to turn babyface since he is running for mayor of Frankfort, Kentucky. I just feel like it makes sense that he'd, you know, with political aspirations in mind, he'd probably want to be a babyface in the eyes of the people, I would feel like.
Yeah, he's going to be county commissioner in Harrisburg, so.
Yeah. All right, then.
So you don't think I'm crazy for my Kane thing either, do you?
No. And
so here's the deal. Unless it's just an outright win, and it's probably going to be a schmoz because you're probably going to get Sasha Banks right. It all comes down to Cedric Alexander, Rich Swann, Gentleman Jack, and Brian Kendrick because Sasha Banks and Alicia Fox are on the kickoff show. So it's coming down to the 205 Live tag match. If we tie, I win.
Yeah. A tie goes to you. It is a B show. All right, Jared. Listen.
I thought for sure you were taking the Miz team. I thought you were taking Team Miz. I did.
Why did you think that?
I don't know. You walked me down the garden path. You made me feel like there's no way the Shield should win.
I had a tough time this morning. For a little while, I had my choice as Miz Taraj, but before we started shooting, I said I'm not going against the Shield.
Who do you think takes the loss on this team of 5? It's not Braun, and it won't be Kane.
You say it's not going to be Braun like they've been protecting him lately.
They've been protecting him.
I'm going to beg to differ there.
You don't think they have been?
Post Brock Lesnar, I don't think they have been.
You think the Shield beatdown of Braun Strowman was a mistake?
Not saying it was a mistake. I'm just saying it shows they're not protecting him.
Right.
So I don't know who takes the fall. I don't even know if it's 1 fall or 5 falls. I don't know how many falls there's going to be.
It's going to be a fun match, though, because they're going to beat the hell out of each other with chairs and tables and ladders.
Aren't TLC matches, aren't you supposed to grab something hanging from the roof?
I don't know.
WWE.
I don't know. I don't know the rules. What did you say? Did you tell them to F off? Are you mad at them?
Well, I don't know what's going on. Happy birthday, Jake the Snake.
Happy birthday, Jake.
Anything else you want to mention today, Jer?
That's all. I think we're ready to rock and roll, and we'll be back on Monday morning with the predictions.
No, it'll be a recap.
With a predictions episode. I'm going to be the new Cruiserweight champion.
Jared's going to make predictions for Raw on Monday, I suppose, while I recap TLC this coming Monday.
Hey, wrap it up for me, Big Dong.
I love when you call me that.